Just to review, here's numbers 11 and 12. And you were supposed to skip 13, 14, 14, 15. There's no 16. You were also supposed to skip or cross out number 17 and number 18. Which brings us to page 4, number 19. And this is one of those last things, in fact, I think it was the last thing that we learned. It was about midpoints and the segment between them, which we call the mid-segment. So they give us here in 19a, they give us a lot of information. They want us to solve for x, given that BD is 5x plus 3, and AE is 6x plus 9. Again, they tell us that B is the midpoint of AC, and D is the midpoint of CE. That means that BD is a mid-segment, and we know two things about mid-segments of triangles. The first thing we know is that they are parallel to the remaining base, or the remaining side, and they are 1/2 the length of that side. In other words, 5x plus 3 is, remember that that equal sign means is in math, 1/2 of 6x plus 9. Well, I have an equation that I can use to solve for x. 5x plus 3 equals 3x plus 4.5. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. That moves all of my x terms to one side, and all of my integer terms to the other. We get 2x equals 1.5. And when we divide by 2, we get x equals 0.75. Now if we look at 19b, I want to show you just a slightly different way to do these. They still want us to solve for x, and they still give us that BD is 3x plus 2, and AE is 4x plus 8. Notice different numbers, but still the same problem. They tell us B is the midpoint of AC, so that means that AB and BC are the same. They tell us B is the midpoint of CE, so CD and DE are the same. And that means that BD is a mid-segment. Again, that means that it is parallel to the remaining side. And by remaining, I mean the side that it doesn't touch. And that the remaining side, 4x plus 8, is, remember that this means is, 2 times the length of the short side, which is 3x plus 2. Now notice, in the last problem, we did the small is 1/2 of the big. In this problem, we did the big is 2 times the small. Well, we can still solve this now the same way. 4x plus 8 comes down. 2 times 3 is 6x. 2 times 2 is 4. Now I'm going to choose to subtract 4x from both sides in order to keep my variable positive. That's going to cancel the 4's. That means I need to subtract 4 from both sides in order to isolate the variable, keep the variable alone on one side. The 4's cancel. 8 minus 4 is 4, and 6 minus 4 is 2x. And as you can see, x is going to equal 2.